So I'm speaking to, or speaking with, Katherine McNenly, who is a superbly competent and craft master of her artist in a naturalistic tradition, living and working in Almonte, Ontario, just near Ottawa, the capital of Canada. And of course, in the past at Upper Canada Stretchers, I've talked to you about orders of fine stretcher bars and so on. But now, Katherine, seeing your work online, I became even more excited at the prospect of talking to you about your life and work as an artist. As I gather, mostly still lives and portraits. And these portraits are exquisitely detailed, and to my eye anyway. It was utter control of your media and characterization of your subjects that to me completely honors their unique being, who they are. For me, I think seeing them, it would be a huge privilege to know how Katherine McNenly sees me, a chance to learn something really valuable about myself. And I imagine your subjects must feel the same way. And then the still lives are so fine, so accurate. I can, again, to me they seem to transcend reality and make me realize what I've missed, make my eyes greedy. Your apples look ready to eat, yet I would not eat them, but I would want to preserve them, to enjoy them forever, just as you have done with your painting. So, what I've seen of all your work, I'd have to use the word suffuses me with a kind of longing, I realize. I'm always wanting to stay in front of it, and no, I cannot. I've got to tear myself away to pursue other, more mundane things. And so, those are my thoughts after introducing myself to your online work. I can only imagine how enthralled I would be to be in their actual presence. And so, with that as a bit of an introduction, I wonder if, Katherine, how did you get started with this kind of work?
Well, I certainly intended to always be a sort of a naturalistic artist. Coming from a small town in Ontario, I decided to go to university and study fine arts in Toronto. And this was back in the 80s. And at the time, once I got there, I realized that, it was very contemporary and they weren't really interested in sort of representing the form visually, like in a naturalistic way. So I sort of had to go out and find, someone that could teach me how to paint and draw in the manner that I was, hoping to paint. And I was lucky enough to find a great teacher and portrait artist in Toronto by the name of John Angel, who at the time had just started teaching from his studio. And so I would go at nights, and on weekends while I was going to university to study with him. So I was learning sort of the old master approach to painting from him. And then at university, I was doing more the contemporary sort of form of art. So that's basically how I got started.
That's wonderful. It's wonderful that you found such a sympathetic and competent teacher
Yes,
to help
I
you.
was very lucky.
It's just great.
Because there really was nobody else at the time that was really teaching that kind of thing, and so
Sure.
he was kind of the beginning of this whole movement in Canada of this sort of approach to painting. He sort of was the one where a lot of the realists today in Canada sort of sprung from his teaching or his students' teaching. So it's a sort of line
Sure.
that is starting up again.
Well, thanks to him and you and his other students to keep that tradition alive. That's
Absolutely.
great.